I don't even know how it happened, but somehow Nickelback was the first band that I ever got into as a kid. I was so into that band when I was young. In my second grade talent show, I sang How You Remind Me as a trio with two other kids. And in third grade, my teacher called my mom to express her distaste with my, quote, obsession for Nickelback and School of Rock. Of course, Nickelback has been the butt of many, many jokes and memes. Look at this graph! But I've always stuck by them because, let's be real, they truly are a great rock and roll band. Yes, a lot of their songs do sound very similar, and they can definitely be a bit cheesy. But come on, if you had discovered a formula that worked and you knew that everything you wrote was pretty much guaranteed to be a massive hit, you would do it too. Now, with the recent release of their latest album, Get Rollin, and the announcement of their massive summer tour, taking along country superstar Brantley, Gilbert, and newcomer Josh Ross, the question has been posed a number of times. Is Nickelback transitioning into a full-blown country band? So today, let's discuss two things. One, are they in fact turning into a country act? And two, are they still deserving of all of the hate that they've gotten? And were they ever deserving of it in the first place? Here we go. This new tour that the band just announced is absolutely massive, running from June to the tail end of August, of course with Brantley Gilbert and Josh Ross as I mentioned, and without fail, the internet keyboard warriors come out in full send with Nickel Who and the Dane Cook of rock and all that kind of shit. There's no surprise to any of that, but what is baffling to me is the people that are just so shocked that Nickelback would bring out country openers with them. For one, they've already had just about every rock band that makes sense out on the road with them. Daughtry, Bad Wolves, Bush, Seether. I mean, who else is there? Maybe there could be a Nickelback and Stone Sour tour, though. The reality is that the fans of most of the bands in that world that they could bring out with them, they're already probably Nickelback fans. Those fans would be there regardless of who support is. Not to mention any of the larger active rock bands like Breaking Benjamin or Five Finger, they can fill those rooms on their own, and there's no sense in pairing up because both of the bands would then have to split the pie, which absolutely makes no sense. All of this to say, have you heard Nickelback's catalog? That band has done what most bands want to, but are incapable of, and that's crossing over to multiple formats. I remember being a kid and my mom would listen to the Top 40 mix station, and you better believe it, there's Nickelback with most likely one of their ballads. Get in the car, turn on the rock station, there's Nickelback. Could be a ballad or it could be something like Animals. Talk to a rock fan, they probably like Nickelback. Talk to a pop fan, they like some songs. Country fans, they're certainly into Nickelback as well. Except for hip hop, which even then, I'm sure there's a number of rap fans that can get into Nickelback. This band has crossed over into basically all of the mainstream genres. So many rock and metal fans will tell you though, oh, that's just cheese rock, or oh, that's just some bubblegum bullshit for soccer moms. Well, of course you're going to feel that way about the ballads. The target is a wider mainstream audience. And sure, the band has become a little bit more mainstream over the years than on their earlier records. But have you actually listened to those albums? Even the newer ones, there's some heavy stuff on there. I say heavy subjectively, of course, but they don't fuck around on some of their stuff. Flat on the Floor from The Long Road, that song absolutely rips. San Quentin off of the new record, Never Again from Silver Side Up, great hard rock songs. Even some of the bigger radio hits, Animals, Something in Your Mouth, Burn It to the Ground. There's no denying the band's hard rock edge. As for the country stuff, if you've heard the new record, yes, the song High Times could 100% be released as a single to country radio. However, this is not even the band's first foray into country-style songs. This afternoon, off of 2008's massive success, Dark Horse, definitely has those vibes, and it was a hit for the band. You could even argue that they have had some southern-leaning songs throughout their entire career. Good Times Gone, the closer on Silver Side Up, Cowboy Hat off of the second record, The State, Definitely a southern edge to both of those tracks. Regarding this tour with Brantley Gilbert, though, we're living in the day and age of diverse tour packages. Like it or not, this is the trend. Brantley wrapped up last year on the road supporting Five Finger Death Punch, and that band, of course, is a fair bit heavier than Nickelback. Jelly Roll recently toured with Shinedown and had a hit at rock radio with Dead Man Walking, which, by the way, is a fantastic song. And he also had a big country hit with Son of a Sinner, both of which are from the same record, Ballads of the Broken. Hell, even Guns N' Roses headlined Coachella when they first reunited with Slash and Duff, so to say that you're shocked or whatever is absolutely absurd. These sorts of crossovers and collaborations have been happening for years. Buckcherry a couple of years back released a remixed version of Crazy Bitch in 2020 with Wi-Fi's Funeral. Jay-Z with Linkin Park in the 2000s, obviously all the way back to Anthrax and Public Enemy, and of course Aerosmith and Run DMC before that. It's just now expanded into other genres outside of hip-hop nowadays. There's even talk of that absolutely wild Ed Sheeran and Cradle of Filth collaboration. As far as all of the hate that the band has gotten over the years and continues to get, I honestly don't even buy into any of it. I don't think it's real whatsoever. And people always bring up the hilarious incident in Portugal from way back in the day when the crowd pelted rocks at the band on stage, which ultimately led to them leaving the show. Here's the clip.
Have we got any Nickelback fans in Portugal? Are you sure? Up to you. You guys want to hear some rock and roll or you want to go home? See ya.
And look, it is pretty comical, especially if taken out of context, but according to Chad himself, it was at a metal fest with bands like Slipknot and Cold Chamber, so it's sort of understandable, to be honest. He even says if he was at a metal festival, he wouldn't want to see Nickelback either. So even Chad Kruger gets it.
Yeah, we wound up, I have no idea why, we were playing a metal festival. So it's like us, Slipknot, Cold Chamber, like all these heavy bands, and I have no idea what we were doing there, and it was just a horrible mistake. And then we got up there, and actually there was like, 14,000 people that wanted to see the band, and there was about 20 or 30 that just weren't having it. They just were like, you know what? I came here to see metal. I don't want to see Nickelback. And in their defense, if I went to a metal festival, I wouldn't want to see Nickelback either.
The bottom line is this. Nickelback 100% does not deserve the hate that they get, and most of it is solely for participation, as it's trendy to hate the band. It's not even real. Most of their records are super solid, and honestly, let's just be thankful that there's a band in the world of rock that's big enough to do the kind of business that they do, because honestly, there's not really a lot of bands left at that level. It's been a point of discussion now for years, but it's true. There are barely any real rock stars left, so let's just appreciate the ones that we have. Before we wrap it up, though, I do want to go over a funny article I came across while I was writing this video real quick. In 2012, the Miami New Times wrote a piece called 6 Types of People Who Actually, quote-unquote, like Nickelback, and here's their list. Number 6, Southerners in their 30s and 40s. Number 5, middle schoolers with underdeveloped tastes in music. Number 4, people who refuse to use proper capitalization and spelling. Number 3, aggro metal dudes who've been brainwashed by Clear Channel, which of course is now iHeart. Number 2, Sao Paulo, Brazil. And according to them, that's from actual data. But they did wrap that bit up, though, by saying that clearly the sentiment isn't the same in Portugal. And number 1, trolls. All right, though, I got to get rolling. My fiance is waiting to have something in her mouth, so I got to go. But thanks so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you next time.